Welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute devotional podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse. Broadcast from the ever-beautiful Sharonville, Ohio, on the sunny side of Cincinnati. Hey there, friends. Welcome back to Daily Dose Radio here in the Bible Bistro. Here in the Bible Bistro, we're serving it up hot and fresh every single day because this is a Bible Bistro. So come on in here, get yourself something hot or cold to drink. Sit down with me. It's only 5 minutes. You've got 5 minutes you can give me. Come in here and we're going to study today Psalm 119, verses 138 and 139. We're talking about the testimonies of the Lord the righteousness of the Lord this week. This is the righteousness letter. I said testimonies because that's how this verse 138 starts off. He says, "Thy testimonies that thou hast commanded are righteous and very faithful. My zeal hath consumed me, because mine enemies have forgotten thy words." We're going to notice several things here in these two verses. We're going to find out about his condition, the psalmist's condition, because he brings that up 3 different times in 139 and 141 and 143. And then he talks a lot about the righteousness of the Lord in reference to the Word of God. We've already had that in 137, but we're going to have it again here in 138 and then again in 140. And also really in 142. We're going to see these themes sort of repeat, and they repeat back to back. It's that little rhythm that the psalmist creates. 138, he talks about the faithfulness of the Word. 139, he talks about his suffering. 140, the faithfulness of the Word. 141, his suffering. 142, the faithfulness of the Word. 143, his suffering. And then in 144, we got our only prayer in this particular section. We've seen so much praying happening in the other sections, but we, in this section, don't have but one request. So 138 says, "Thy testimonies that thou hast commanded are righteous." Remember, I told you yesterday that the word command or commandment begins with the same letter, sade, as the word that's translated righteous. So he's enjoying the use of these words here that are related to this letter. "Thy testimonies that thou hast commanded are righteous and very faithful." Now this tells us something more about righteousness. Righteousness is faithfulness. Righteousness not only is upright, that is, it is separate from sin, but righteousness is also faithful. So the faithfulness of God is seen in his righteousness. And remember that when we began with this idea of righteousness, we have basically this little study of the Word in this section. We begin with the idea that the Lord is righteous. So we have to start at the beginning, and that is his person, character, and nature are righteous. And that nature of God extends then to his word, his judgments, his testimonies, his commandments, his precepts, his statutes, his law, his word. So the righteousness of God is seen in all of those, and now we're learning little bits at a time what else we have here about this idea of righteousness. And the second thing we have after upright is that it's faithful. Righteousness exhibits faithfulness. 139, we have that back and forth between his condition and the faithfulness of the Word. And here we have his condition in 139, "My zeal hath consumed me, because mine enemies have forgotten thy words." The idea of the enemy comes in here again. Now, we've seen him all throughout Psalm 119, the proud, the wicked, the arrogant, the faithless. Well, here it is again. This is set against the idea of the testimonies being very faithful. The enemies are not, because they've forgotten. Faithfulness is never described by forgetfulness, is it? No. So this is an opposite to the idea of the Word's faithfulness and the righteousness of the Lord. The Lord would never forget because he's righteous. He's upright. He's faithful. But the enemies, they're not. They're the opposite. They've forgotten the words. All right, join me again tomorrow. We'll look at verses 140 and 141 on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. I'm David Smith. The music today has been performed by the Bluegrass Experiment. Thanks again for listening. I'll see you next time on Daily Dose Radio.